chapter and it's more of a question, is matter around us pure? Chapter का नाम है is matter around us pure. Chapter का नाम they have made it in this manner, but there's a lot of things to conceptually learn in this chapter. Chapter is very small, but we will learn many conceptual things because unlike ICSC people, you guys somehow have not been exposed to this from grade 7 or grade 8. Okay, so our name of the chapter is matter around us pure? Is matter around us pure? That is what they are asking us. So the definition of matter is already clear with us. What is matter? Matter is anything that has got mass, occupies space, and I said can also be felt. ठीक है ना? अब ये यही सोच रहा है, is matter around us pure? तो एक matter ले लेते हैं. तो मान लीजिए, what is the matter that we are questioning? Say one slice of say black forest cake. ये भी तो matter ही है ना? तो कह रहा है क्या ये चीज ब्लैक फॉरेस्ट केक क्या ये प्योर है कि नहीं? ठीक है. नाउ लेट्स सी व्हाट केमिस्ट्री टेल्स अस. यहाँ बड़े इंटरेस्टिंग फाइंडिंग्स होंगे हमारे. तो आइए इन फाइंडिंग्स को एक एक करके देखने की कोशिश करते हैं. अब एक चार्ट बनाऊंगा और ये चार्ट इनिशियली आपको अभी बनाऊंगा, 10 में बनाते हैं हम, 11 में भी बनाते हैं. आई डोंट एक्सपेक्ट दैट यू विल लर्न इट कंप्लीटली इन वन गो, बट छोटा छोटा सीखिए, बट ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट चार्ट. Whenever we have matter and we talk about matter in chemistry, matter has been divided under two heads. One is called pure substances, okay, and one is called impure substances. Pure substances and impure substances. ठीक है, जो भी दुनिया में हमें मिलता है, right from anything, right, anything that is matter is classified into pure and impure. This purity has nothing to do with the purity with which you eat something. जैसे आप कहते हैं ना, milk is very pure. हमारे chemistry में milk is impure. ठीक है, this purity is not with the sense of purity in which you deal. कि बताओ साफ सुथरा है, ऐसा नहीं है. Pure substances are further classified into two heads. And we will study them very much in detail, क्योंकि ये clarity अगर अभी नहीं हुआ तो आप फंस जाओगे आगे जाके. Elements and compounds. Pure substances are classified into elements and compounds. Impure substances are known as mixtures. सब कुछ सीखेंगे एक एक करके. Mixtures. Mixtures are further classified into two parts. One is known as homogeneous mixture. Wow. Homogeneous or homogeneous? 1 minute. Homogeneous and heterogeneous. Heterogeneous. होमोजेनियस में हम इस चैप्टर में पढ़ते हैं सॉल्यूशन और एंड एलॉय. ओके. हेटेरोजेनस में दो चीज पढ़ते हैं, सस्पेंशन एंड अनदर वन इज नोन एज कोलॉइड. कोलॉइड, COLLOID. COLLOID. पहले इस चार्ट को बनाइए सुंदर से, because this chart we will be dealing a lot, whether we are in grade 9, we are in grade 10 or grade 11. Matter is divided into two heads, pure substances and impure substances. Pure substances are classified as elements and compounds. Impure substances are known as mixtures. So in some science books, in some schools, like in my days, in my school, this chapter was known as element, compounds and mixtures. So mixtures are further as homogeneous, heterogeneous. In homogeneous, we'll be studying about solutions and alloys, and in heterogeneous, we will be studying about suspensions and colloid. The right side of this segregation of matter is literally easy to understand, but the left side has got only two words, but the clarity of these two terms do not come to many children up till grade 12. So I will be stressing first initially more on these two. Then we will go to the right side. The right side, once you learn, you will not forget. But your clarity about these two, because इसमें बहुत सारे चीज ऐसे होंगे जहां आपको confusion होना शुरू होगा, तो यहां से मन लगा के पढ़िए, ठीक है? Yeah.
So homogeneous is kind of related to solutions mixing evenly and
unevenly. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, creating layers. ठीक है, चले आगे. So अब चलते हैं इस सेक्शन में. We'll be studying the next section out here, and we'll be dealing with the pure part first. Okay, we're dealing with the pure part. आइए. Let's understand what are pure substances first. Instead of writing, समझने की कोशिश कीजिए. Pure substances. Pure substances will always be made of one type of particle. One type of particle. Understand? A pure substance is made up of one type of particle. मतलब हमने क्या पढ़ा था? मैटर इज कंपोज्ड ऑफ पार्टिकल्स. अब वो मैटर को अगर आप पार्टिकल लेवल में, इफ यू ट्राई टू एग्जामिन इट, you won't find 2-3 different particles, types of particles, एक ही. To give you a very nice example, एक लेगो ब्लॉक ले लो, a particular लेगो ब्लॉक ऑरेंज कलर का, मान लो one cube, और and you have made this big sort of a, what I say, a human or a say a human like character. But if you break that human character, all you are getting is that white color small cube only. Nothing big, nothing small. समझ में आ रहा है? Then we will say the structure that we made is made up of one type of particle. Are you understanding? This one type of particle can be an atom, or it can also be a molecule. So first thing is we should understand what is atom and what is molecule. Atom at our level is the smallest form of matter, is the last entity of matter. Okay, let's try to understand. Now, as I said, elements and compounds. इसको चैप्टर को ये पोर्शन बेटा थोड़ा सा कैसा है, ये linearly नहीं पढ़ा सकते हैं. It will be attacked from all sides. Sometimes I may go this way, कभी यहाँ से कुछ बताएंगे, ठीक है? Elements. Let us take an element. So roughly say we have say 114 elements है हमारे पास as of now. Let's not dispute on the numbers. Some of these elements will be natural, and some of these elements are what? Artificial or man-made. Right? But what is common between these elements are that they are made up of one kind of particle. So let us take a small piece of say copper. This is copper. Is copper an element? Yes, copper is an element with the symbol Cu. This piece of copper I have brought from, this is copper element, pure substance. Means don't expect any sort of dust or any sort of other thing to be mixed with it. It's only copper. This suppose I have got from India. And I have another sample of copper out here. And this is also copper, and I have brought this from say Japan. Okay? If I disintegrate both of them, all I'm going to get is copper atoms. Are you understanding? And if the copper atoms were like marbles, and I mix them all in a bag, and I now tell you, बोलो तो Japanese atom कौन सा और Indian atom कौन सा है, you won't be able to distinguish between them. While disintegrating them into small particles at the atomic level, I will not expect to find anything other than copper atom. Only copper atom, only copper atom, only copper atom. I won't find any iron atom out here. Now, how many elements we have? 114. Let's take another example. Now, this was a metal. Let's take a non-metal, carbon. If I disintegrate carbon, I should get carbon atoms. Have you understood? If I disintegrate a non-metal, like say, for example, an oxygen. Oxygen is an element. I am not referring to the oxygen gas which you are breathing. Only oxygen as an element. Then oxygen will disintegrate into oxygen atoms. Is this much clear? Okay. Yeah. Right now, listen for next half an hour. Then I'll tell you. Okay. So have you understood this much? Now let's go a little bit further and discuss more about what is there in these atoms and the elements and the atoms. Well, if I take an atom, and these things you should be very, very clear with, and I divide it further, I am going to get every atom will have, whether this is in this chapter or later, let's not bother about. Every atom will have a nucleus, and inside the nucleus you are going to have two more particles which are known as protons and neutrons. Okay, please do record these later. And you also have electrons. These electrons orbit the nucleus. They keep on moving around the nucleus. This is what is atom. Have you understood? Now the next question comes, sir, I took an atom of copper. Now listen to me. I took an atom of copper. So I have an atom of copper. So this is known as the copper atom. And I have an atom of, say, calcium, which is Ca. This is the calcium atom. This is calcium. And this is copper. Do you agree? Now, when I break the copper atom, what do I get? I will be getting electrons, protons, neutrons. If I break the calcium atom, what do I get? Electrons, protons, neutrons. Now, your question should be, sir, are the electrons of copper different from the electrons of calcium? Not at all. Not at all. They are all same. So I have a very nice example of this. These are the various vegetables available, three types of vegetables available at Ratnadeep. What are the vegetables? Electron, proton, and neutron. A Bengali guy like me goes and chops this vegetable and he makes a Bengali preparation out of it. A Tamil guy goes and makes a Tamil preparation. A Punjabi goes and makes a Punjabi preparation. All of us bought the same bhindi, mirchi, and aloo. They are not different. So is this thing getting clear to you? Atoms are made of subatomic particles called electrons, protons, and neutrons. If I take all the electrons from different atoms and I put them on a bag, you cannot distinguish. They are just like vegetables in a shop. However, every person can make a different dish out of it. The dishes are the atoms. So what is an atom? Every atom, like your DNA of your body, has got a configuration. Right? Every atom has a configuration. अगर मैं X element का atom हूं, तो मेरे अंदर some blah blah electrons, some blah blah neutrons, and some blah blah protons should be there. Little bit high level for us, but still we can understand. Let's say if you are an element of, say, carbon, if I am a carbon, then if you disintegrate carbon, what should you get? Carbon atoms, है ना? Carbon atoms को further disintegrate करने से हमें मिलते हैं 6 proton, 6 electron. Just for your understanding, you don't break your head now. And 6 protons, 6 electrons, and we get 6 neutrons. Have you understood? So this is the configuration of a carbon atom. कार्बन एटम में ये कॉन्फ़िगरेशन रहता है. समझ में आया तो ठीक है, या बाद में देखेंगे आइसोटोप्स बनते हैं, ऑल बनते हैं, बट दिस इज अ बेसिक लेवल ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग. हाउएवर we have got another very lovely element which is known as hydrogen. Hydrogen will be represented by a hydrogen atom, and very interesting, a hydrogen has only one proton and one electron. Hydrogen does not have a neutron. ठीक है, one proton and one electron. समझ में आ रहा है? ऐसे configurations बनते हैं. So what is the pure substance? A pure substance is a substance which contains only one type of particle. And I said the particle can be an atom or the particle can also be a molecule. As of now, I am only dealing with pure substances as atoms. Then it comes to me that, sir, we have got 3 samples out here. I have got a sample of calcium. I have got a sample of, say, copper. And I have got a sample of, say, zinc. Calcium. What do I expect out here? Calcium atoms. What do I expect out here? Copper atoms. What do I expect out here? Zinc atoms. Made of electron, proton, neutron. Made of electron, proton, neutron, electron. The Bong dish, the Telugu dish, the Tamil dish. Made of the same vegetables that were available at Ratnadeep. Have you understood? Can I now say that they are pure substances? Yes, they are pure substances because they are made up of one type of particle. An analogy of drawing to it would be every element is like a wall. Every element is like a wall where atoms are what? The building blocks. यही तो ऐसा है ना, एक टाइप का ईंटा, one type of brick and one type of wall. Have you understood? Now suppose I bring out another. Now again, is this block of copper matter? Yes, this block of copper is matter because matter is everything that has got mass, consumes space and can be felt. So let's go back to our definition. I saw a piece of block which is matter. I configured it as a pure substance because it was an element which was having only one kind of atom and one kind of particle, and we are right now concentrating only the atom part. We molecule में नहीं आए हैं हम. समझ में आया? Let's go now back here. Say suppose I had another sample out here, and this is a sample of, say, something called carbon dioxide. I break it further, right? I break it further from an element perspective. I'm not saying pure or impure now. I break it further. Do I find only one type of particle out here? No, there oxygen है तो oxygen particles will also be there. So this cannot be an element. ये element नहीं हो सकता है. An element has only one type of particle, and that particle will be known as the atom. Have you understood? थोड़ा बहुत ठीक है. आइए थोड़ा और रिसर्च करते हैं एलिमेंट के ऊपर. Now let's say, so far what I've understood, that if I have an element, it is made of one type of particle, and that particle, to my understanding so far, is only an atom. Have you understood? अब इसके साथ थोड़ा गेम खेलते हैं. Let me take an oxygen atom and let me take another oxygen atom. How many type of particles are you seeing? How many type of particles are you seeing? One type of particles. Count of particle is 2, but it is one type of particle. भिंडी भिंडी है ना, एक ही type. If these two particles chemically combine, and when we say chemically combine means, always remember, new substance, new properties. What do we mean by this? New substance, new properties means whatever, when they chemically combine, they will form something, and this is a new substance. Okay, and it will have new properties. It means it will not retain the properties of either of the combining substance. Both were same particles, by the way. It will bring new properties. Chemically combined means, if I go back to grade 7, I will say that this is nothing but a chemical change. A chemical change is usually irreversible. You can't heat and cool and say ice forming water. It's a physical change. Ice भी water था, water भी water है, vapor बनने से भी water ही है. It's only a physical change. It's not chemical change. This is a chemical change. Are you understanding? एक chemical change हो गया है. And new substance, new properties. Chemical change में क्या क्या होता है बेटा? There will always be energy will be either absorbed or released. ये होना ही पड़ेगा. And this energy will be released in the form of light, heat or sound. ऐसा होएगा. And cannot be reversed. ऐसा नहीं कि रिवर्स नहीं होता है, होता है. Cannot be reversed by simple means. Cannot be reversed by simple means like heating or cooling. समझ में आया? जैसे आप आइस को हीट कूल करके रिवर्स कर देते, देन इट इज कॉल्ड अ केमिकल चेंज. सो टू लाइक एटम्स नाउ आर केमिकली कंबाइनिंग. तो केमिकली कंबाइन करने के बाद ये दोनों लाइक एटम हमारा एक स्ट्रक्चर बनाता है. ठीक है, this is a concept that you have to understand. A new structure is formed. This structure will be known as molecule. अच्छा, this is known as molecule. इस मॉलिक्यूल के अंदर क्या है बेटा? इस मॉलिक्यूल के अंदर मेरे दो ऑक्सीजन एटम्स हैं. क्लियर है? This is very stylish. Have you seen paperweights? Paperweight means डॉक्टर के टेबल में रहता है those glass sort of spherical balls. उसके अंदर बहुत सारे सिलिका के स्ट्रक्चर्स रहते हैं ना. You see those colored blue, pink. Have you seen or not paperweights? Can you see those colors? Yes. If I tell you get me the red color out from there, can you get it? No. The unit that you can touch is the paperweight itself. Paperweight देखा है? बड़ा सा paperweight होता है ना, उसके अंदर बहुत सारे glitters रहते हैं. You can see all the glitters, but how do you count that particular item? In the form of the paperweight only. Molecule वैसा ही चीज है. आपको ये दो एटम दिख रहे हैं और आप इन्हें छू नहीं सकते हो, अलग नहीं कर सकते हो. तो अगर मैं बोलूं यहां से इन एटम्स को लाओ, तो आप what you have to move? The molecule itself. Have you understood? This is called a molecule. Now, there is something very strange with atoms. Sorry, with elements. We were studying that elements contain one type of particle which is called atom, which is very much understood out here. However, as a human being, the oxygen that you are breathing is actually not an oxygen atom, but an oxygen atom combining with another oxygen atom and forming something called an oxygen gas. This was what? This was atom. What is this? Atom. What is this? Molecule. ठीक है? This is molecule. However, this is still the element oxygen only. Oxygen in atomic form, oxygen in molecular form. समझ में आ रहा है? Everything will not be in molecular form. Gases come in molecular form. This is oxygen. This is oxygen in atomic form. Have you understood? Anyone who doesn't understand, just stop me. This is oxygen in molecular form. आपको समझ में आया है? अब जरा एक चीज देखिए, जस्ट I'll try. हो गया तो हो गया, नहीं तो देखेंगे. ओके, सो let it be, don't worry. Now, this person, the thing that he is breathing oxygen gas in molecular form. Can he sense any one of the oxygen atom? No. He is sensing only the oxygen blue circle, which is molecule. Now ask a question to yourself. Are the blue circles one type of particle, each blue as compared to the other blue? Yes, obviously. सबके एक ही साइज है, सबके अंदर वही चीज है. Is it one type of particle? तो हमने क्या कहा था? Element can exist in one type of particle, जिसको हम atom बोलते हैं. ऐसे केस में हम क्या बोलते हैं? ऐसे केस में हम बोलते हैं that the element is existing in atomic form. However, that one type of particle need not be restricted only to particle. It can also be a molecule. Then this element is existing in molecular form. Now, children, let's revisit. What is the criteria for somebody to become an element? For somebody to be an element, he should be a pure substance. What is the definition of a pure substance? A pure substance has one type of particle. Let us look at oxygen. When we look at oxygen in this form, is it one type of particle? Yes. When we are looking at oxygen in this form, is it one type of particle? Yes. Therefore, this is known as the molecular form. This is known as the atomic form. Both are actually elements. जैसे ओजोन में जब हम जाते हैं ना, 3 ऑक्सीजन एटम, O3, very good, O3. That is also oxygen as an element only, but in a different molecular form. जो हमारे non metals होते हैं ना, gases, all these gases, atoms cannot exist on their own. Let us take some more example. Okay, with examples you will learn. Let's say one of the gas that we know as very common to us is nitrogen. Nitrogen exists as a molecule. Now you may ask, periodic table में क्या दिखाता है? This periodic table is, the periodic table is a beautiful thing which is like the UN. Every country in UN is represented by one person. मेरे टेबल के सामने क्या लिखा रहेगा? India. Is my name India? No. I am one ambassador of India. Whatever I speak will be construed as what India is speaking. Whatever I agree to is India agreeing to. So the periodic table has only atoms. So the question comes is, sir, does nitrogen atom exist? Theoretically, yes, but none of us has been able to see nitrogen as an atom because the nitrogen that you see outside is in molecular form, that is nitrogen gas. So definitely nitrogen theoretically exists in atomic form, and nitrogen also exists in, this is the nitrogen that you see every time around you. Let's take hydrogen. Hydrogen exists as hydrogen atom. We have not seen it, but when we put it as a gas in any cylinder, it is hydrogen in its molecular form. Are these elements? Well, let us ask, what is the criteria for being an element? An element is that matter which should have one kind of particle. In this रूप देखा तो किसी ने नहीं, अगर कहीं है तो इसमें सिर्फ नाइट्रोजन एटम्स है, एलिमेंट है. ये रोज देखते हैं, एयर में है, इसमें सिर्फ नाइट्रोजन मॉलिक्यूल्स है. Yes. Inside the nitrogen molecule, there are nitrogen atoms, but you can't touch them. If you move it, it's one unit that you're moving. Are you getting it? So similarly, it's just like small Cadbury's dairy milk inside a crate of dairy milk. Big crates of dairy milk are itself molecules. Inside them are atomic level dairy milks. Are the crates identical to each other? Yes. So, but a very interesting thing that you observe in elements, the molecules of elements. Okay. Now one more thing that we will discuss. We'll discuss molecules of elements. Well, I have one example in front of me where I have a molecule of oxygen. This is a molecule of oxygen, O2. Inside it, I see two similar constituents. And that's the reason I'm calling it an element, क्योंकि element का definition क्या है? An element is comprising of only one type of particle. So when the element was in molecular form, it is comprising of only blue particles. When it is in atomic form, it is comprising of only white circles. Have you understood? The white particles, one we don't see. It's not available in the atmosphere. What is available? Oxygen, always in oxygen gas form. There will be a lot of clash in your mind, but at this level, let us understand and answer two questions to ourselves. What is a pure form of a matter? A pure form of a matter comprises of those substances which have one type of particle. In our chart, we showed that pure can be element, pure can be compound. Right now, we are talking of only element. And when we said one type of particle, the particle can be one type of atoms. So when you see at this example of mine, I was talking all metals. Metal atoms exist on their own. So when I'm talking about metal, what does it comprise of? Calcium. There was no molecule out here. But when I talk about gases, atoms do not exist on their own. What do we have? We have molecules. दर्द हुआ था क्या? पंक्चर करते वक्त? Okay. So then comes copper atoms. zinc atoms. So these are all elements. Are they pure form? Yes, they are pure form because they contain one type of particle. Then I go to some elements which are non-metals, like say nitrogen, hydrogen. Do they contain one type of particle? Yes, sir, but this particle is not atom, this particle is molecule. But inside that molecule, if I try to peep and see, I can't touch them, I always see two same kind of. This is going to be the striking difference of molecules of elements and molecules of compound when we talk about. Element के बारे में थोड़ा सा knowledge clear हुआ. So an element is a pure form of matter. Elements are made up of only one kind of particle. That's why they are considered pure. And in the case of element, those pure form of one type of particles can be either atoms or molecules. Achha, what is the difference between an atom and a molecule? A molecule is formed when two or more atoms chemically combine. Means you just can't separate them. They have chemically combined, and once they chemically combined, they just forget their past. They become new substance with new properties, and they cannot. This is a chemical change. Clear? This same concept of molecule will be there. Now we will see a little bit of compound. Then we'll try to compare our understanding. जब तक ये clear नहीं होता है ना, आपका chemistry clear नहीं होगा. चलिए, हाँ. They are all in molecular. Have to be. They are not unstable. ये जो है ना, this is like the picture that a boy or a girl clicks before the marriage. The best looking and the most shant sushil. But ideally, are everyone like that? No. This is the best representation of a element is in the periodic table. प्यारा सा, मन्ना सा, सुंदर सा, एकदम अच्छा बच्चा. पर घर में जाके देखो उतना ही गंदा रहता है ये. इसके बारे में भी पढ़ेंगे अगले चैप्टर में. ठीक है? थोड़ा सा कंपाउंड को देखते हैं. या टेल मी.
Two atoms. The new substance formed is molecule.
New substance formed a molecule. In the case of element, two similar atoms combine.
Here, this chemical combination of the reaction, it is naturally like.
Yeah, it naturally can happen, but there can be some energy. Energy will always be required or will be released. It's just not that, why are then two copper atoms not reacting to form a molecule? We should ask that question. So it all will come to something called stability, end of the day. Why do you not stand under the sun at 12 o'clock in the afternoon? You're not comfortable. Everyone wants to come into the zone of comfort. Same thing goes for the atoms also. Everyone will try to come into a comfort zone. The copper atoms were comfortable in that matter. The non-metals or the gases were not comfortable. So they came into a combined mode. What is all those? We will study. Dhire dhire. Yeah.
This chemical is very difficult to
reverse. Yeah.
Not impossible.
Not impossible, but not as simple as just like ice and water. Just by heating or cooling, you can't reverse it.
So if this chemical reaction is reversed, why can't we, let's take hydrogen molecules. So let's say it is somehow reversed.
But the existence is not possible. Otherwise, hydrogen atoms would have existed. They are not stable. At your level, now understand that they are not stable. Theoretically, I can say it can be reversed. But it's not possible. If I want to see your childhood, I can see it only in a video recording or in a photograph. Can I make you back to a child? No. But you've grown and evolved from a child only. You get the point? Okay. So,
So element is the chemical combination of two similar atoms.
Element?
Is the
No, element is not the similar chemical. Element contains only one type of particle. And that particle is known as atom. Elements' existence is questionable in atomic form always. Certain elements may not exist in atomic form due to stability issues. Like say for example the gases, oxygen, nitrogen, chlorine, let's say sulfur, okay, phosphorus. ये सब जो non-metals है ना, ये हालांकि theoretically they are made up of only these atoms, but इस रूप में stable में नहीं रह पाते हैं. तो इनको अगर आप element रूप में पा रहे हो, then it is two or more of their atoms chemically combined, and then I'll call that it is the molecular form. An element can exist in atomic form, like say iron, copper, gold, can exist in molecular form, like say oxygen, nitrogen. So you mean to say, sir, that oxygen atoms don't exist? Theoretically, they exist. Otherwise, how was the oxygen molecule formed? Have you understood? Sir, why are copper molecules not available? Copper atoms are stable on their own. They will not form that molecule. Have you understood? Let us see one more. If we see compounds, then everything will become clear. Let's see what is a compound. Mind you, compound was also pure substance. हमारे डिस्कशन में कंपाउंड को भी प्योर बोला गया था. डू यू रिमेंबर? पहले आप देखो, लिखने की बजाय बाद में, बिकॉज एट योर लेवल दीज विल नॉट बी आस्क्ड इन योर एग्जाम. एग्जाम में जो पूछेगा वो लक्ष्मी सिंह में है. इसको समझ लिया तो लक्ष्मी सिंह पढ़ने से आप ऐसे ही समझ में आ जाए. कंपाउंड इज व्हाट? कंपाउंड इज two or more elements chemically combined. Now very interesting. Now you will say, sir, ये तो आपने लास्ट स्लाइड में भी बोला था. लास्ट स्लाइड में मैंने बोला था two similar atoms chemically combined. अब मैं बोल रहा हूं कंपाउंड. कंपाउंड इज two or more elements chemically combined. मैं एक एग्जांपल लेता हूं. two or more elements. मैंने कार्बन लिया और मैंने ऑक्सीजन लिया. Are they two or more elements? Obviously, they are two or more elements. Every element at their base level, carbon will be represented by a carbon atom. Understood? Oxygen will be represented by an oxygen atom, but we have understood oxygen अकेला रहता नहीं है, तो ऑक्सीजन किस रूप में आएगा? ऑक्सीजन मॉलिक्यूल बन के आएगा, है ना? तो ऑक्सीजन क्या बन के आया? ऑक्सीजन मॉलिक्यूल. अच्छा, now ask, is it one type of particle? Yes. Is it one type of particle? Yes, yes. Is this one type of particle? Yes. The blue is one type of particle. The white is also one, because when you are saying blue, आप अंदर के उनको छू नहीं पा रहे हो ना. So is this element? Element should have one type of particle. Yes, yes, one type of particle. Element should have one type. Two or more elements chemically combined together. अब क्या होता है? अब थोड़ा सा मैं एक कलर चेंज करता हूं, नहीं तो आपको समझा नहीं पाऊंगा. So let's say carbon was my yellow colored atom. Have you understood? Now these are chemically combining. So who all will chemically combine now? Obviously carbon के तरफ से शादी में ये बैठेगा, इसकी तरफ से शादी में ये बैठेगा. ठीक है? Now don't confuse between the colors of the tick mark. I can't be that neutral. So ये शादी में जाएगा, ये जाएगा, क्योंकि ये तो जा नहीं पाता है. ठीक है? ये दोनों क्या बनते हैं? कंपाउंड बनते हैं. So let us make the compound. Atom and a molecule. Now let's see. Now you make a new compound which is like this. Inside it, I have got one carbon, and this molecule will break up. Okay, this molecule will break up and it will create. Have you understood? This is also known as molecule. Okay, and this is molecule of carbon dioxide. अब समझो थोड़ा सा. This is molecule of carbon dioxide. So what I do now, I just इसको छोटा करता हूं, carbon dioxide molecule, and let me separate them. And let's say, children, this is a sample of carbon dioxide gas. Now ask yourself a question. This is again the doctor's paperweight. What you can touch is the green circle, but what you can see is the inside. उन्हें अलग नहीं कर सकते हैं because they have chemically combined. You can't separate them. Now ask yourself a question. Is carbon dioxide comprised of one type of particle? Yes. What is that particle? Green color. Green color. What is that particle? Molecule. Molecule. But what is the difference between the molecule of oxygen and the molecule of carbon dioxide? Inside the molecule of oxygen, very good, I had one type of atom. Here I have two types. Therefore, you make what is, when you get a molecule of a compound, when you get a molecule of a compound, it will have dissimilar atoms chemically combined. अब सब clear होना शुरू हो जाएगा. But last slide I had what? I had a molecule of an element where I had similar atoms chemically combined. Have you understood? तो एक सवाल आता है, sir, in the last slide you told that an element can exist in atomic form. Our example was copper atom, and it can also exist in molecular form. Our example was O2. Yes or no? Now you ask your question, can a compound exist in atomic form? I'll say you're stupid. How can a compound exist in atomic form when the base definition of compound is two or more elements chemically combined? How do the elements combine? Every element comes in the form of atoms. If an element came in molecular form also, during the reaction, its molecules broke. I said, it is not that it is non-reversible, but not easily. Carbon is nothing but the koila that you have and you have kept it in your balcony. I have a barbecue party in my house. I bought a lot of koila. That is carbon. Oxygen is freely available in Pebble City. सारा कोयला जल जाता है क्या? You need lot of energy. हमें गर्म करना पड़ेगा इसको. और जैसे ही हम इसे गर्म करते हैं, सारा कोयला गायब होके गैस बन गया. कौन सा गैस? कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड गैस बन गया. वो बनने के टाइम पे जितने एटमॉस्फेरिक ऑक्सीजन के मॉलिक्यूल्स थे वो भी ब्रेक हुए थे. And then all the atoms got rearranged themselves to form new molecules. Therefore, an element can exist in atomic or molecular form, but a molecule compound will always exist in molecule form only, or a molecular form. This brings the first tongue twister to us. Every molecule, every compound is a molecule, but every molecule need not be a compound. A molecule can be an element also. A molecule can represent a compound also. ये clarity बहुत जरूरी है. समझ में आ रहा है? अब आप खुद को पूछो. Let's go back to our first slide. In our first slide we said matter is a pure substance. A pure substance, a form of matter is called pure substance only if it is either an element or a compound. And what did we define a pure substance? A pure substance contains one type of particle I wrote that can be either an atom or a molecule. Now let us first question. We have got three individuals whom we will check. Copper, as in copper, metal. Is it a pure substance? Let's check. Copper एक element है और copper को तोड़ने से सिर्फ copper atom मिलता है. One kind of particle and I get atoms. Yes, copper is an element and it is a pure substance. Then let's go to oxygen. A oxygen, आप कैसे मिलते हो? हालांकि मेरा एक एटॉमिक फॉर्म है पर मैं उसमें कभी एग्जिस्ट नहीं होता है ना. आपका एक एटॉमिक फॉर्म थियोरेटिकल. सो यस, एन एलिमेंट. बट आप मिलते कैसे हो? कैसे सुन रहे हैं हम आपको? दो हम लोग एटम्स एक साथ जुड़ जाते हैं, वी बिकम मॉलिक्यूल. आस्क अ क्वेश्चन. उस मॉलिक्यूल में इज देयर एनी फॉरेन बॉडी? वन टाइप ऑफ पार्टिकल. One type of particle making one type of particle, but it is a molecule. So can oxygen in gaseous form be an element? Yes, why not? Oxygen gas compound हो ही नहीं सकता है. अभी आ रहा हूं तीसरे पे. अभी आपको मैं आंसर नहीं दूंगा, आप खुद दोगे. आप पूछते हैं कंपाउंड क्या है? कंपाउंड वो चीज है जिसमें more than two type of elements are there. ऑक्सीजन में एलिमेंट को आप कैसे रिप्रेजेंट करते हो? थ्रू atoms. In compound you will have two or more than two different type of atoms. Now you had asked me the question, क्या सर ऑक्सीजन मॉलिक्यूल कंपाउंड है? कंपाउंड होने के लिए ऑक्सीजन का मॉलिक्यूल देखते हैं. चलो डायग्राम कहां गया? ऑक्सीजन मॉलिक्यूल, हमारा प्यारा सा ऑक्सीजन मॉलिक्यूल. ये ऑक्सीजन मॉलिक्यूल है. क्या इसके अंदर आपको अलग एटम दिख रहा है? तो ये मॉलिक्यूल है पर ये कंपाउंड नहीं है. कंपाउंड होने के लिए अलग टाइप के एटम्स होना जरूरी है. So when you see a compound as carbon dioxide, now ask, Carbon dioxide's last level entity is what? A carbon dioxide. तुम्हारा सबसे छोटा रूप क्या है? Then carbon dioxide starts telling me, मेरा सबसे छोटा रूप तो ये ग्रीन सर्कल है और इसको मॉलिक्यूल बोलते हैं. तो हमने आपसे एक सिलेंडर कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड ले लिया, उसमें क्या है? ग्रीन सर्कल, ग्रीन सर्कल, ग्रीन सर्कल. Then we go back to our main definition again and we say a pure substance should be made of one type of particle. Now I'm using my pen, so I'm saying copper was present in atomic form. Then say calcium or say iron was present, iron is Fe, present in atomic form. Oxygen as a gas was present in molecular form. Carbon dioxide as a compound was also present in molecular form. Are you understanding? This is also a pure substance. Is this a pure substance? Yes. Is this a pure substance? Yes. Because its entity is that green circle. Please don't see these two different particles. It has one type of particle. What is that particle? Molecule. It has one type of particle. What is that particle? Molecule. It has one type of particle. What is that particle? Atom. So elements are those substances which are made up of one type of atom or one type of molecule. The molecules of elements do not have any other atom. But when we go and study about compounds, जैसे यहाँ पे compounds have molecules which have more than one type of atoms inside them. But you cannot touch them. Their existence is at the molecular level only. Yeah, now you can ask your questions. 1 minute, let me take her question. But two different particles, वही तो बोला. ये डॉक्टर के टेबल का वो पेपर वेट है जिसके अंदर का रेड ब्लू ग्लिटर्स आपको दिख रहा है. लेके आओ ना बेटा, रेड वाला लेके आओ. ला पाओगे? You can't pull out the copper. You very nice question. Copper oxide, CuO. Copper oxide's formula is CuO. One atom of copper, one atom of oxygen. ऐसे बाजार में बिल्लियों की तरह नहीं बेच रहे बेटा. That is wrap किया हुआ है. You cannot get one copper. You cannot take out the copper from copper oxide. So copper oxide's last entity, if copper oxide was a jigsaw puzzle, then all the jigs are what? Copper oxide molecule, copper oxide molecule, copper oxide molecule, copper oxide molecule. Can I get one small copper out from there? No, you can't get. If oxygen was a jigsaw molecule, jigsaw puzzle, then every block is oxygen molecule, oxygen molecule, oxygen. If iron was a jigsaw puzzle, every jig is iron atom, iron atom, iron atom. So pure substance cannot have a different type of. Now I'll do one drawing और आपको और clear हो जाएगा. एक drawing बनाता हूँ. The schematic drawing, okay? So let's say pure substance. What did I say? A pure substance has only one kind of particle in it. तो दीवार बनाते हैं. Can you make copper का दीवार? This is copper का copper wall. Copper wall में क्या मिलेंगे बेटा? Copper के bricks मिलेंगे. What are these bricks? Atomic bricks. Are they all same? Yes. Can it be called as a pure substance? Yes, pure substance has one kind of particle. This is a pure substance. My next brick, my next wall is oxygen wall. This wall is made up of oxygen molecules. Do you see any other molecule here? No. Each oxygen molecule has got only oxygen atoms inside it. So can I say that this is one kind of particle? Yes. So is this pure? Yes. My third wall. This is a wall of water. What do I have there? I have got water molecules. The first water molecule is similar to the fifth one? Yes. Similar to the sixth one? Similar to the 388th one? Yes. Each water molecule contains 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen chemically combined, in which they have forgotten their parental properties. One very nice example now I'll give you. Okay. Now you have a new compound which is known as water. Compound. Is this a compound, beta? Yes. A compound is formed when what happens? Elements I'm writing, 2 or more, what do? They chemically react. And I told you during this chemical reaction, I will get new substance, and ये याद रखना हमेशा, new substance, new property. समझ में आया? हमने यहां पे एक एलिमेंट लिया जिसका नाम है हाइड्रोजन, हमने यहां पे एक और एलिमेंट लिया जिसका नाम है ऑक्सीजन. अब खुद को पूछो, हाइड्रोजन इज अ हाईली एक्सप्लोसिव गैस, ऑक्सीजन सपोर्ट्स कंबस्टन, ये केमिकली कंबाइन होके ऐसा चीज बन गया जो आग बुझा देता है. न्यू सब्सटेंस, न्यू प्रॉपर्टी. बाप राक्षस, मां राक्षस, बच्चा प्रहलाद पैदा हो गया. ओम नमः विष्णु करता है हमेशा. मजा आया? अब एक और चीज देखो, मैंने कुछ आयरन के फिलिंग्स लिए, मींस क्रशिंग्स ऑफ आयरन. दिस इज व्हाट आयरन, ठीक है ना. और इसके साथ थोड़ा ऐसे एक हीप ऑफ सल्फर पाउडर ले लिया, सल्फर पाउडर, और इन दोनों को भेलपुरी की तरह ऐसे मिला दिया, आयरन और सल्फर पाउडर को. सल्फर पाउडर इज जस्ट लाइक मैदा and iron chippings. Have I combined them? Yes, I have combined them. Have I combined them, I am asking? Yes. Now I will test the chemical combination, because if I chemically combine them, then they should form new substance, new property. अब टेस्ट करते हैं. इसको हमने बना लिया ना ऐसे भेलपुरी की तरह. अब मैं एक मैग्नेट ला के इसके ऊपर ओम स्वस्ति न स्वाहा करता हूं, क्या हो जाएगा? सारे आयरन सेपरेट हो गए. That means it was not chemical combination. It was just a physical. इसको मिक्सचर बोलते हैं. भेलपुरी में आप छांट तो सकते हो ना घर में लाके, बट वंस पनीर एंड ऑल आर कुक्ड, आप बोल सकते हो अभी पनीर के अंदर से जीरा निकाल के दो, केमिकल रिएक्शन हो चुका है. बट द भेलपुरी इज अ टीडियस टास्क, बट यू कैन सेपरेट मिर्ची. अब इसी मिक्सचर को आप तवे पे लेके ऐसे हीट करना शुरू कर दीजिए. जस्ट हीट इट इन अ तवा. You form a black lump and bring your magnet now. तो मैग्नेट बोलेगा कोई पहचान का मिल ही नहीं रहा है. आयरन क्या था? मैग्नेटिक. वो अपना मैग्नेटिक प्रॉपर्टी खो देगा. क्यों? क्योंकि आपने केमिकल रिएक्शन किया और नया चीज पैदा कर लिया, उसका नाम है आयरन सल्फाइड. देखो केमिस्ट्री बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है. आयरन सल्फाइड अपने मां और बाप का प्रॉपर्टी रिटेन ही नहीं करता है, and it has lost its magnetization property. That means looking at the sample also, you can say whether the sample is a compound or the sample is a mixture. That was a mixture. Although we have not studied mixture, that is on the right side of our thing. Well, we'll give more time to the left hand side. We need to understand. See, I gave another example. The previous example was that of carbon reacting with oxygen. Is carbon Bhasmasur? Yes. Koila is Bhasmasur. It will burn. Does oxygen support combustion? Yes. CO2 फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर के अंदर मिलता है, वो आग बुझाता है. Again, the child has properties which is completely different than the parent. Chemical combination. So the gist of the story, if we just revise, and we go back to our slide 1 once again, okay, and just try to revise. We said we're questioning on this chapter after learning everything about matter. What all did we learn? Matter is composed of particles. These particles are continuously in motion. Particles attract each other. There is space between the particles. यही सब तो पढ़ा था. Particles में diffusion होता है. आज सवाल पूछ रहे हैं ये मैटर प्योर है क्या? My black forest cake is pure? No, impure. Is milk pure? No, impure. और जो लोग सुसाइड करते हैं ना ये टेररिस्ट टाइप में, like the LTTs and all, we are they used to carry a tablet called potassium cyanide. The moment you eat it, immediately you die. Immediately you will die. So that nobody can catch you. In chemistry, potassium cyanide is a pure substance because it's a compound. But the milk that your mother gives you every morning is a mixture. Horlicks is impure. So strange, so funny. But potassium cyanide is pure. समझ में आ रहा है? So, हाँ. Carbon monoxide is formed when carbon does not burn in complete oxygen. That's why in villages and all, people are asked whenever you use firewood, तो आप जब ऐसे चूल्हा फूलते हो ना, मेरी बच्ची की ऐसी शादी हुई, चूल्हा फूकती है, तो खिड़की विड़की खोल के कीजिए. अगर ऑक्सीजन सफिशिएंट नहीं होगा, कार्बन विल बर्न हाफ. It creates carbon dioxide is nothing harmful for you, but carbon monoxide is extremely nauseating and asthma plus आपके लिए cancerous भी है वो.
So just in the previous seems to potassium cyanide.
Yeah, potassium cyanide. Nails, even all spies. If you watch World War movies and all, when spies are sent on mission, एक बार spy अगर पकड़ा गया, तब तो उसको इतना torture करेगा. You can't even imagine, and you don't know. Like you know, when the Cold War used to happen. Cold War, you know, the war after World War, there was a phase when Russia and America were going on nuclear. Russia means USSR on nuclear, what you call expansion, like anything. At that time, there was no war, but every day it was like war-like feature. So a lot of Americans, and these jobs were more given to girls and ladies. A lot of Americans were caught in Russia. A lot of Russians were caught in America. And you can't imagine the level of torture, and your nail will be plucked slowly so that you reveal, or else no information will be given. And the best way is, if they get to know that there is espionage or something, shoot yourself or consume cyanide. क्योंकि इसके बाद आपका जो हशर होगा वो बहुत ही खराब होगा. In fact, in Netflix there is a very lovely movie, but although that's rating is 16 above, but the story is beautiful. It's the name of the movie is Allied. Allied is a lovely movie. So ये सब, see, you don't see the war period as only war. War के time कुछ socio-economic भी. There could have been a German girl also who must have fallen in love with a British Air Force officer. Marriage हो गया होगा. Then you can extract information. ये सब भी होता रहता था. तो potassium cyanide is a poison. And not only this used to be carried in earlier days. ये जो Mughals and all Chandragupta Maurya time, they all used to have it. Anytime when you think that you have the fear of getting captured, immediate death. It lips and you'll die. So our review today, which talked about matter, and our question was, is matter pure? Well, matter can exist in pure and impure. उस साइड को तो आज देखते ही नहीं है. Pure में matter दो फॉर्म में आता है, element और compound. Very quick revision. Element made up of only one type of particle. Initially, that one type of particle we restrict to atoms. But later we see there are a lot of non-metals. The elements, the 114 elements that you see, they are in metal and non-metal form, and some are metalloids. A lot of non-metals, typically the gases, do not exist as one independent atom, but they stay in combined phase. That combined phase is known as molecule. So a particle can be either an atom or a molecule. As long as the particle is one type, you call it a pure substance. So elements are pure substance because they contain one type of atom, or one type of molecule. And if you look at their molecule, inside their molecule, there is only one type of atom. Whereas when we go to compounds, compounds are formed when these elements, 2 or 3 elements, chemically combine to form one new molecule. Now in this molecule, I will see more than one type of what you call atoms. But can you separate them? No. If you want to bring them, you have to bring that molecule only. So compounds are also made up of one kind of particle. So bottom line discussion, and then we close our class for today. Bottom line discussion, that if you have an element, ये element हमें atomic form में मिल सकता है, या फिर हमें molecular form में मिल सकता है. और अगर हमने कंपाउंड को ढूंढने की कोशिश की, तो हमें ये सिर्फ molecular ही मिलेगा. Have you understood? Our best example was oxygen. Then our example was oxygen molecule, which actually had 2 oxygen atoms. And then we gave the example of carbon dioxide molecule, which contained 2 oxygen and 1 carbon. देख लो बेटा, इसको अगर घर लाना चाहते हो ना, ये सब नहीं मिलेगा. ये सब दिखने में मिलेगा। मिलेगा क्या? ग्रीन ग्रीन बॉल्स। इसको घर लाना चाहोगे तो सिर्फ ब्लू ब्लू बॉल्स, इसको घर लाना चाहोगे तो सिर्फ व्हाइट व्हाइट, बट they are all one kind of particles, therefore they are all pure form. Have you understood? So this brings, our discussion was that when we talk about molecule, it is a very dicey subject. Molecule can represent compound, molecule can represent element also. Every compound is a molecule, but every element need not be molecule, but every molecule need not be compound. Every compound has to be a molecule, but every molecule need not be a compound. Molecule can be an element also. Element दो रूप में मिलते हैं, compound एक ही रूप में मिलता है, और ये सब बने हमारे क्या बेटा? Pure substance. अगर ये आप किसी 11 क्लास के बच्चे को भी बोलोगे ना, 11 क्या और ऊपर में भी, उसका ये क्लैरिटी नहीं होता है। ये क्लैरिटी हो गया, आपको आगे सब क्लियर हो जाएगा। The right side is far more easy to understand because there is no question of chemically combining. There is no question of new particle. Mixture तो मेरे मर्जी. If I go to her house to take revenge, she can add this much of tang and this much water. खाते ही मेरा गला जल गया. Her choice. किसी और के घर में गया, इतना पानी डाला और चुन्नू सा टैंग दिया, पी के लगा ही नहीं, टैंग पिया, वो भी एक मिक्सचर है। आप बोलते हो ना कैसे? गर्ल्स व्हेन दे हैव पानी पूरी, भैया जरा मिर्ची कम दीजिएगा, हाथ दोनों ऐसे कर रहे हैं, आलू ना उसमें कम दीजिएगा और मिर्ची कम दीजिएगा और आलू कम, और सब कुछ देना है, सब कम देना है। यो ब्रो जेनजी, व्हाट यू लाइक टू हैव? आई डोंट नो, कोल्ड कॉफी मे बी, मुझे नहीं पता, कोल्ड कॉफी शायद। चलो रंगारंग कार्यक्रम खत्म आज का, ठीक है? And we will catch up. Please watch this video. We have got only 4 chapters, children, in grade 9. But if these 4 chapters are clear with you, your grade 11 is clear.